Tonight for dinner, we are having a cozy autumn fall soup. It's gonna be so good. Wild rice, Italian sausage. You can make this vegetarian if you want, but we're gonna add Italian sausage because it is so good in there. I am making mine in the Instant Pot, but please, if you do not have an Instant Pot, it is the exact same thing over on the stovetop. Do not let it stop you if you don't have an Instant Pot, okay? The only difference between making this in your Instant Pot and making it over on the stovetop is about 15 to 20 minutes cook time. That's literally it. Every single instruction is the same, so do not skip this if you don't have an Instant Pot. You'll regret it. It's so good. Trust me on this one, okay? Now, before we make anything in the Instant Pot, I have already prepped and cut and got everything chopped and ready to go. I've got some sweet potatoes here. I went ahead and peeled and diced these so that they would be ready. This is 2 large sweet potato. You could probably just go with 1, but I really wanna make this vegetable heavy. I'm just feeling it tonight. I'm feeling like we just need vegetables. You know how sometimes you get that way? I've also peeled and cut up or diced 2 carrots. And then I've also diced up 2 celery stalks. So you, again, use however much you wanna use. That's just how much we're using for this recipe. Now I'm gonna take this sweet Italian ground pork sausage. I'm gonna use the saute function on my Instant Pot and get this cooked up. So now if you were making this over on your stovetop, you're just gonna saute it in a pan, in a Dutch oven, in a pot, whatever you wanna cook this in. Honestly, this is probably a 1-pot recipe, which is fabulous. Also, can I just be real with you guys for a second? I love homeschooling. I genuinely do. As with anything that we do in life, there are good days and there are bad days. And today was not our best day. It was not an award-winning day by any means, but my husband, my wonderful husband, brought home some crumble cookies for me. It's my favorite one. If you don't know about crumble, I do not like their chocolate chip cookie at all. Some of their specialty cookies are really good. I'm just telling you a story while this thing's heating up, okay? I don't remember what this one is called, but it is my favorite. I think it's French toast. Oh, buttermilk pancake, that's what it is. Now that we went on that huge tangent, let's go ahead and cook up the ground pork. Also, listen, don't come at me because if you try one and you get one that's gross, I'm really sorry. There's some that I love, but there's some I've tried that I don't love. Whenever I use my Instant Pot, I need a stool. Y'all, you know I'm only 5'1", and I feel like I have to stand on my tiptoes to get inside of this thing and make whatever I'm making. Now I also just decided that because I have it and I just love thyme so much, I'm gonna add in some thyme to this while it's cooking. If you don't have it, that's totally okay. It's just, now that I have an indoor garden, that's so wonderful. I love to add these herbs. I feel like thyme is just one of those amazing fall flavors. I mean, obviously it's an any time of the year flavor, but it just adds the best aroma and flavors to fall dishes. If you hear noises, my dishwasher is almost done and it makes a lot of noise right at the end. This is looking really good. I'm gonna start adding in my other ingredients so that we can get that sauteing as well. I'm gonna toss in just a little bit of butter though. I feel like it's gonna be so good if I just a touch. We're gonna add in all of our vegetables. So we've got the carrot that we talked about. I'm gonna saute that, the celery, saute that. All of our sweet potatoes. I am also adding in some mushrooms. These are baby Bella mushrooms. You don't have to add in, you don't have to add in any of this obviously, but we're gonna add in some of those. I feel like these are a great fall flavor and you just give them a little rinse and they're good to go. You guys know, you've heard me say it before, my daughter does not like mushrooms, which I think that's a pretty common thing for people to not like, but she never complains or anything. She just picks them out, which is wonderful because the rest of us really all love mushrooms. Now I'm also going to mix in a couple of minced garlic cloves. Now the one thing I'll say about the Instant Pot is you do want to make sure that you are scraping the bottom of it when you're sauteing. I don't know about you guys, but I get the burn notification way too often for how unused this thing is. It's not like it's that I use it all the time and I need a new insert or anything like that. I don't know. I'm very thankful for this thing because it's come in handy many times for larger events where I need a big thing to put stuff in, but I still don't know that I have figured out fully how to operate it. This already smells so amazing. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be a ton of soup, by the way. Let's just let those saute for a couple of minutes and then we're gonna add in a few more things. Okay, here's an ingredient that might seem a little odd, but trust me, it is like it's an Old Bay or some sort of seafood stew type of seasoning. We've got about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half. I'm adding this because it brings out amazing flavors in all of this. Now you can skip that if maybe you feel like it's a little too much, maybe you don't care for that flavor, but oh man, so good. Now I've got a cup of like a wild rice, long grain wild rice. We're gonna add this whole cup in here and stir all of that together. Now normally I would add about 6 cups of liquid to this, but I did add quite a few more vegetables, so we might end up adding more like 8 cups. I'm gonna start pouring it in and we will see what it looks like. And if you guys have been here for a while, you know that we usually use bone broth instead of chicken broth, but you can use whatever you prefer. Okay, so we add this in, but then we wanna scrape the bottom of the Instant Pot. This is gonna pull up any of the stuck on stuff at the bottom. I think I'm just gonna cover the vegetables, which is gonna be about 6 cups. That's right at 6 cups right there. Now, because I am using bone broth instead of chicken broth, I do want to make note of something. So the sodium content in bone broth is 320 milligrams. If you're using chicken broth, the sodium content is 510 milligrams. So with that said, you're obviously getting a lot less sodium, so you're getting less of a salty taste. You may want to add a little bit of salt to this just based on the flavors that you like. So just know that if you're subbing out and using bone broth instead, you sometimes may want to add salt depending on the recipe. Now, so I don't have to go digging, hopefully, we'll see. I'm gonna add in 2 bay leaves. They're kind of pieces, unfortunately, with where we are at. I'm gonna do my best to put them right here at the top. We'll see if they stay and I'll try and remember to pick them out. I don't know, let's put them kind of on the side. I wish I had larger bay leaves, but I need to order that in my next order. Okay, now the lid is gonna go on. We are gonna set to sealing and we are gonna pressure cook this on high for 25 minutes, not 4 hours, which is what it's currently set to. All right, 25 minutes, we'll let it naturally release for about 10 minutes, and then there's 2 more ingredients and it's ready to serve. All right, moment of truth. I feel like this is the scary thing about the Instant Pot is you never know what you're gonna get when you open it, because you can't see it while you're cooking. Okay, bay leaves, where are you? So I'm just gonna have to tell everybody to be on the lookout. Okay, well, now we're gonna add in a few more things. Now you can add in heavy cream or a half and half or something like that. I'm gonna use coconut milk because it's convenient, I have it. I'm gonna add in a full can. This is a 13.5, 14 ounce can of coconut milk. So we're just gonna add all that in. Maybe this will help us spot the bay leaf. And then I'm gonna add in some baby spinach and kale. I actually was just gonna do kale, but then when I saw this in the grocery store, I thought, we'll just add in some spinach too. Obviously you can skip this if you're not a fan. We're gonna just add some of this in and let it wilt, and then we're ready to eat. That's it. So easy, so good. I found it. Well, okay, I found the other one. Yes! Both have been accounted for. Now, obviously, if you want a more liquidy soup, you can add more. You guys adjust recipes to the things that you love. You guys know I say that kind of thing all the time. Now, if this soup doesn't scream fall, I don't know what does. I mean, even the colors all suggest this is for fall. Let's give it a taste. You've got your rice, you've got the broth, sweet potato, carrot, celery. I mean, oh my goodness, all the things. It literally tastes like fall in a bowl. That's very good. Now, again, the one thing that I think that we might need to add is just a touch of salt, but that's because we use that bone broth instead of the chicken broth. But oh my goodness, it straight up tastes like fall. Cozy, heartwarming, love it, love it. Because I added so many vegetables, I do wish I would have doubled the sausage. I think that would be perfect. You guys have already heard me talk about how much I love our garden. This vertical gardening system for growing fruits and vegetables inside the home year round. We love having a garden, being able to get fresh fruits and vegetables, but before having this indoor system, we were limited to just a few growing months out of the year. The garden system uses hydroponic technology and LED lighting to create the best growing environment for your plants. It was designed to meet the needs of all people, whether you have gardening experience or not. You also get Kelby, which is an app-based personal gardening assistant. And Kelby is gonna tell you anytime you have a need. This is gonna help you care for your plants in the best way possible using real-time sensors and cameras. We absolutely love that we can grow this nutritional food that is literally steps away from our kitchen. You get to choose from over 60 fruits and vegetable seeds that are organically sourced and non-GMO. And you're gonna grow your plants without any harmful pesticides. Choose all of your favorite produce so that you can make your favorite dishes all year long. Unlock an exclusive offer from Garden by clicking the link in my description box below. Been here for a while, then you know when we have family nights at church, we provide food, and a lot of times I contribute to that. Tonight, we are having soup and salad night. It is rainy, it is cold, it's gonna be perfect for soup. This first soup is a chicken enchilada soup, so delicious, so much flavor. You can change things up a bit depending on what you need for your family. Y'all, it's delicious. Majority of it can be made in the crock pot or on the stovetop, so you can choose how you wanna go about this one. We're gonna be doing a little bit of a mixture of both because I'm gonna use my crock pot to keep it warm after making it. I went ahead and prepped some of the ingredients that we're gonna need for this recipe. Yes, this is onion. I know you're surprised, but since I'm making it for church and not just for our household, I figure a lot of people actually do like onion, so we're gonna saute some onion and put it in there. In addition to that, I've already prepped out some minced garlic, probably 3 tablespoons or so, and then all of my spices I already put into this little cup. We'll salt at the end if we feel like it needs it. We had an event the other night at our church and we had a lot of chicken on the bone left over. We had it catered and it was delicious, but lots of chicken left over. So I actually brought it all home, took it off the bone and prepped it and shredded it so that we could use it for family night dinner so that nothing would go to waste. So I've got some chicken already shredded and ready to go for this recipe. So that was kind of the prep work for this. Everything else is kind of a dump and go process. Let's head over to the stovetop because the next step is really to saute up our onions. I also wanna mention, you may wanna cut up some jalapeno and saute those as well. If we were making this for our family, I would definitely add jalapeno. But I know that heat can sometimes be an issue for people, especially if you have sensitive stomachs. I am adding the diced tomatoes with green chilies later on. So just a little bit of heat, but not quite like what you would get if you had some fresh jalapeno in there. All right, I'm gonna start by turning my heat on to about a medium high and add about maybe a little less than a tablespoon of olive oil or whatever kind of oil you prefer. Also keep in mind, you don't have to use pre-cooked chicken. You can honestly add all of this to a nice big pot and boil your chicken in the soup, okay? As you're making it, cook the chicken inside it. We've got some heat, so let's add in those onions. They're gonna start to cook right away. I'm gonna let the onion saute for just about a minute and then add in the butter. One thing you always wanna be careful of when you're sauteing is not to burn your butter when sauteing vegetables, because it can just get really gross tasting if you burn it. Now, brown butter's one thing, burnt butter, that's disgusting. Now, I chopped an entire onion, but if you're not cooking if this doesn't need to feed 20 people, then you probably wanna cut this in half. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of butter to this recipe. Again, I will have the conversions in the description box where you can change the recipe for the amount of people that you're cooking for. We have probably about 80 people coming tonight. So I'm making 2 soups, and then some other people are making soups so that we'll have plenty for everyone. Now, as this is cooking up, we're gonna add in all of those spices. For this, we have about a teaspoon of chili powder, about a teaspoon of onion powder, about a teaspoon of mustard, dry mustard. I've got just a touch of cayenne. We do wanna add just a little bit of heat, so it's like 2 pinches of cayenne, and about a half teaspoon of cumin. So you think it smells good right now? Wait until this smell-o-vision. Whoa, this is gonna be so good. All right, let's just let these work for just a few minutes. I'm also gonna add in the minced garlic, and this doesn't need to cook for very long, so that's why we kind of wait till the end. Once the onions have started to become a little more translucent, you can start to see that they're not quite as crunchy. Now, while the onions are working on the other side of the kitchen, let's go ahead and add all of our chicken here into the crock pot. And just to make sure that we have enough chicken, I went ahead and cooked up 2 more chicken breasts, and I'm gonna add 1 of them that is shredded here into this pot. I just wanna make sure there's a good amount of protein in them. We had our event catered by a place called the Smoke Pit, which is a barbecue restaurant, and they do a fabulous job. It's kind of expensive when you go in and you think everybody needs to order a plate, but then you have leftovers for the next 7 days, because what you get is absolutely what you pay for. It's very, very good. Okay, the onions are done, so we're gonna add all of those in. I'm gonna toss that together just a little bit. No good reason, because we're about to pour a bunch of stuff in there. We're going to add 2 cans of red enchilada sauce. Obviously, if you don't need to make this for that many people, then you can add less. Okay, I'm supposed to have 2 cans of diced tomatoes with chilies. I just bought the store brand of this, but obviously you can do Rotel. It's the same thing. And we are not draining these. I am wondering if my crock pot is gonna be big enough for this soup. I might need to use my Instant Pot, because it's gonna be a whole lot harder to transfer all the liquid once I put that in there. Let's just transfer it, okay? So same process, I'm gonna be using my Instant Pot as a crock pot. When I got an Instant Pot, I thought I would use it all the time, because you know, it was the thing. Second of all, I thought that I needed the biggest Instant Pot that they have available. I did not. I needed probably the smallest that they have available. I'm very thankful for it now though, because I use it so frequently for church. We are adding 2 cans of black beans. These are 15-ounce cans each, and I am going to drain and rinse the black beans. All right, another thing that you guys are probably aware of if you're not new here is that we don't typically as a family love corn added into stuff. We actually love corn, but we'll usually just put it on the side. I am choosing to use frozen corn. We love white corn. If you're trying to feed a lot of people, like in this case, corn is one of those really great fillers. I mean, black beans, those are also a really great filler. Corn is a great filler. I'm probably gonna add 2 bags. Let's see what this looks like when I stir it together. I bought 2 bags. Yeah, let's add 2 bags of this white shoe peg corn. We're adding 8 cups of chicken broth. If I were making this for my family, I would use bone broth instead of chicken broth because of the protein content. It's significantly higher. However, bone broth is also more expensive. So when I'm considering feeding this many people on our church budget, I'm always conscious about that kind of stuff. So I did chicken broth instead, and we're gonna add 2 cartons or 8 cups. Just stir. I always like to make sure as I'm pouring this stuff in, it's hard to remove liquid once you get it all stirred together. So I like to just stir it together, but then make sure it doesn't look like too much liquid, because then if I add a whole other carton and it's too much, then that kind of stinks. All right, now I'm gonna just let this cook on low. It's 12:03. Our dinner usually starts around 5:45. I'm just gonna put this on a very low temperature. Everything is already cooked. We're just letting it come up to a temperature. Then right before, I'm gonna add some cream cheese in here, and it's just gonna give it a richness that is gonna, oh, it's gonna be so good. So let's just put that in there, set it to low, and just let it cook. Okay, it has been about 3 hours since we started this enchilada soup, and it is time to add in a block of cream cheese. Now, if you're making the half recipe, you're only gonna need half of a block of cream cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and toss in that whole thing, and it really won't take long to melt. If you're more comfortable though, feel free to cut yours up into pieces. For church, I have sour cream and cheese, but for home, we're just using some Greek yogurt, which you guys know we like to use in place of sour cream. Gonna add a little bit of cheese. Even though we already added some cheese into the recipe, I do think just adding just a little bit, I mean, it just looks really pretty. And then just some green on the top. I mean, look at all the goodness inside of here. That is what you want. Oh my goodness. Let's give this a little taste. Really good flavor. You get just a touch of heat, not too much, just a touch from that Rotel. With the chilies, obviously you would get more if you had some jalapeno. This may be one of the things where you serve as a topping. You have your sour cream, your cheese, maybe some avocado, some parsley or cilantro even, and then some chopped or diced jalapeno. That's a really great option for the people that really do like spicy foods. Oh yeah. Our verse today comes from 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gifts you've received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know we love soup when it's cold out. It's just so heartwarming. If you need more inspiration though, I highly suggest that you check out this video above. You're gonna get so much more inspiration and encouragement in the kitchen. Don't forget to check out the link in my description box so you can unlock your exclusive offer to garden. I hope you're having a great week.